We're getting our rows ready. My watermelon's gonna go here, my cantaloupe's gonna go there.
Yay!
And my son's helping me! It's father-son time in the garden. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Charted it out so I could do rows like commercial farmers do with little mounds. And fortunately, when we switch the camera around, you can kind of see here. They already had it tilled. And then what I'm doing basically is I've laid out some area where I can do mounds. And I had my son helping me. He's taking a break because it is getting a little warm out here. Of all things, it's getting warm in Southern California. Who'd have thought? All right, we are off to the Sepulveda garden. It's time to put in the Flora Flow. Here we go.
Wow. Take a look at my flower.
All right, here's the unboxing of the Flora Flow.
Shall I help?
I have my assistant with me. We have the one mat. And we've got, I think, 2 single bed connectors. And a single bed connector to hook to the hose. And since I'm going to split this 50-foot roll in half, I got an add a bed connector. So those 3 parts you're going to need, those 3 parts. And let's install it. Actually going to amend the top of the soil before I put down the Flora Flow. It's a 1 to 3 combination. We've got the Happy Frog, and the interesting thing about this is that it has the Mycorrhizae, which I understand helps the roots thrive, especially for starters. And the nice thing about the Fox Farm, it's got earthworm castings. I mean real stuff, not just pretend like you. If you go to some of the more chain stores, Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff, they'll have soil that says it has some castings, and then you find out the percentage is so low. And actually, bat guanos, there's different types. There's some that's high in nitrogen. There's also some that are high in phosphorus, and this one is the nitrogen one. We've got the worm casings and bat guano getting mixed in with the original soil, and also the stuff with the root fertilizing agent. So we're going to do it up and down, then we're going to lay down the Flora Flow. So we got our Flora Flow. We're going to roll it out. We're going to roll, just as the online video directions say, we're going to roll it down, and then we're going to put dirt on either side. Since I got the 50-foot piece, these are only about 16 and a half feet long. And when I get to the end, I'm going to trim it and leave some room with the hose. Underneath it has the irrigation tube. So I've laid one strip down and I put dirt over it. I might go back over that. I walked over it a couple times and I'm going to see if I can't get a little more dirt. My concern is that I need dirt on both sides since I'm doing one row next to the other. So my assistant Dina is going to hold down the one end, and I'm going to roll out and do the second row. So I finished the 2 rows. You can see right there behind me, and there's a couple of spots where I'm a little. There's a couple of spots where I'm concerned that maybe the wind or something might blow them away. So I'm going to go over those again, and then I'll show you close-ups of attaching the hose and closing off the end. All right. Single bed connector. This is what starts at the beginning. This is where the outside hose connects. So I'm going to connect the first row first. Now we're gonna use the add a bed connector. I actually have to read the instructions again on this. I thought it was all daisy chained together, but it might not. Okay. So, no, I actually have to add it up near the top. So we're going back to the other end. So this end connects just like the other part does. And then they have this nifty looking T section, shaped like letter T, that connects in where the water goes in. And then you cap off both ends, so that's how you connect an add-a-bed. That's how you use the add-a-bed connector. So it's the same thing. Loosen the blue, slide the irrigation hose on top, crank it down, good to go. Back over here. So where this white stuff is where I'm going to just add the T connector. Pop that off. Come off kind of easy. I'm going to worry about covering up everything in a little bit. Start off making sure everything is working as it's supposed to. What I'll do now is I gotta cap off the other ends. Okay, with the kit comes a little bit of irrigation tube. That's all this is, and that's what you use at the other end. You put this on the end of the irrigation tube and fold it in half. That ends the piece down there. Keep the water from flowing out. It actually comes in handy because if you need to flush the tube for any reason, it can come off really easy. So that's what I'm gonna go do at the other end. So I'm down at the end of the first row. Be careful I guess you could trim some of this off and use it if that's what you wanted to do, but for the most part just fold it in half. That's what the videos say to do. You know, I feel like doing it twice. I think if I fold it twice, it's really going to close it off and it'll pop off so easy. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I got my hose and I'm going to attach it to the connector down here, and but the water will flow through, and water will flow through this way and feed the first bed, and water will flow through this T and then feed the second bed all the way down, and I've capped off both ends, and so I think as it says right there, 0 to 2 hours of daily watering, so it fills it up. So I'm gonna connect the hose, turn it on, and time it, see how long it takes to fill everything up. So I've got the water on, and I'm coming down here to the far end of the bed just to check and make sure that it's not leaking, and it's not. You can see here I got some pressure, but it's not coming out the end. Well, I guess maybe tiny bit is. But it actually acts like the drip that's supposed to. Because there's a dripping spot right underneath there. So all along the bed underneath here, and if I touch this part right here, you can feel pressure in the tube. So I know that it's dripping underneath there at a rate of about that much. So actually that might be a good gauge for me to watch. See how much. I'm going to check the other end. I'm going to come back and cover up the ends. I just wanted to keep them uncovered so I could check it out. So I think we're good to go. Hey guys, I got 2 more things left to do. First one is I'm off to the garden now to install the, make sure I don't get into an accident while I show you this, but I'm going to be turning left here anyway and slowing down behind a car. First thing here is getting a timer put in. So I'm adding a little hose thing for the drip irrigation, and then I'll be able to plant the cantaloupes. That'll be the next piece, because I've germinated them from seed, and most of the cantaloupes, the watermelons are not ready, but the cantaloupes are tall, so they're good to go. So I'm going to be planting those in the next video. For right now, let me explain a couple of things. the hose piece itself, I just went to the hardware store, and they offer little 6-foot sections of hose, and I cut it in half and just added some adapters, and then I'm going to stick so basically this is just all one hose, and I'm going to and I basically reattached it to the timer, and now I'm going to mount the timer and put it on the spigot, and I'm going to lock it in. Since it's a community garden, I'm locking it inside the allotment. There's one thing I discovered. I'm right next to a hose, and I put a little splitter on it. Fortunately, no one else uses that hose. Everyone else who's nearby in our community garden has access to different hoses. So I can actually put the splitter on my hose without interrupting anyone else's stuff. Alright, so I'm here at the garden. I'm going to hop out and put on the rain timer, or the water timer. Okay, it is a little overcast, but I just wanted to show you what I'm working on here. So again, I put a splitter on the hose, and added this little attachment. It's going to go under the fence over here, and on the other side of the fence, it's going to come on up and go into the. I'm going to attach it here to the aqua timer. It was just the least expensive one they had there. I don't even know if this is going to work or not, so I hope it is. Basically, right now it's 6:05 p.m. I'm going to have it start at 6 a.m. Go for 2 hours to drip every day. It has an option on here where I can turn on a manual water. So I'm going to turn on a manual water for a few bits. I got the water turned on, and I know I can turn on because I can kind of hear it, and I can feel the pressure on this side of the tube. And so it's not on right now because I can push what's coming out, and there's nothing coming out this side. So I'm going to just set this. Go down here to manual. There we go. And just do it for 7 minutes. Oh, there it goes. I could hear it. Hear it kick on. And I can hear the pressure all the way down through the Flora Flow. So I'll walk down here. I did notice a little kink on this side. There's a little kink here. And hopefully that's not something that's going to cause much of an issue. Although I think I'm going to maybe pull out this end. Anyway, that's the whole setup. And next step here is to put in the cantaloupe. Alright, I'm going to grab my cantaloupe plants. These are the French Artemis cantaloupes that I've germinated from seed, and they're doing pretty good. It's actually really hot in my bathroom here where I grow. Actually, I wanted to plant, these are the Moon and Star watermelons that I wanted to plant, and even though some of them have their second leaves on them, I'm not going to take them outside just yet. But the cantaloupes for certain are doing much better, and I'd already transferred them into the larger cups from the little seedling pots, and they've got more than just the second leaf on them. So I'm going to put them out, and I'm going to load these up and take them out to the garden and plant them in the Flora Flow. All right, it's planting day at the Sepulveda garden. We've got our French cantaloupe, our Artemis cantaloupe in here. I've got Dina's given me a hand. She's using just a little bulb planter to pull up plots. I've basically spaced things out. I've got a dozen plants that I'm going to put down in one stretch, and then the way you saw the plants earlier, we keep them in these beer pong cups, and they happen to be just the right size for our hole maker. And the one thing I know that we need to be careful of is stepping over it, because my boot got caught on the other one and actually created a bit of a hole. So I'll have to find out about patching that. So be careful if you've maybe made these the way I did and created a bit of a trip hazard. So basically just grabbing the plants, popping them out of the cups, putting them in the spots, and these things are staying very moist. If I come down here to the hole, if you remember, I started the automatic watering, and it's kept it nice and moist, and you can tell by the dirt that's coming out of here. It's not drenched, so there's good drainage, which is awesome. And so this is going to be the cantaloupe row. As soon as the watermelons are ready, they'll go right next to them. So one last piece here, I wanted to show you what I'm doing. I try to do it with all plants that like nitrogen. Super Thrive. I did a little landscaping at one point, and the guy swore by it, and ever since I've used it. I think it's great for transplants. I've got a baby dropper, and I just put a few drops on each plant. From what I've learned, I don't think that they putting too much in hurts, but also it's great for the soil. So I'm going to do a dropper full, maybe not dropper full, maybe a third of a dropper, which again is a very large dose, but I really want these cantaloupes to take off, so that's what I'm going to use. Thank you so much for Flora Flow. If you like the video, subscribe. I got a lot more activities going on. I got vertical strawberries, a new way to do that I couldn't find anywhere else on the web. So if you're interested in that, check out my other videos. Subscribe, and hey man, sunny California, you cannot ask for better than this.
Thank you. You can stop the video now.